September 22nd, 1827. The place? A hill called Cumorah, located in the western part of New York, near the village of Palmyra. It was here that the gold plates were deposited. And on this day, by divine appointment, the young prophet Joseph Smith had come to receive them into his custody. They were buried on the west side of the hill, not far from the top. Having gone there many times before, Joseph knew the place well. A large stone, thick and rounding in the middle, marked the spot. Four years had passed since the angel had first appeared to Joseph, telling him of the ancient record and the work which God had for him to do. 4 years of waiting and preparing.
Joseph. Joseph, I am a messenger sent from the presence of God. My name is Moroni. God has a work for you, Joseph, and because of it, your name shall be had for good and evil among all nations, kindreds, and tongues. There is a book deposited, written upon gold plates, giving an account of the former inhabitants of this continent and the source from whence they sprang. Contained within it is the fullness of the everlasting gospel as delivered by the Savior to these ancient inhabitants. Your work, Joseph, is to translate these ancient writings and to bring them forth to the world.
Four years of waiting and preparing. And finally, the waiting was over.
What lady? What's all the commotion?
That lady!
Why, it's Mrs. Harris. Why, Mrs. Harris, what a surprise. William, this horse needs tending. Don't just stand there. Catherine, put on another plate for dinner.
Can I upset the table?
Yes, run along now.
This is not a social visit, Mrs. Smith.
But you will have dinner with us, won't you?
I wouldn't think of it, not with all the mouths you have to feed.
What's one more when you have so many?
I've come on business, Mrs. Smith.
Business?
Yes, business. A personal matter having to do with your son, Joseph.
Oh, I see. Well, then, of course, we'll fetch him right away. Please come in. Emma, this is Mrs. Harris. Emma is Joseph's wife.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
No, thank you.
Excuse me.
So you're the wife of Martin Harris, the gentleman who has taken such an interest in my husband's work.
Oh, has he? Well, you know more than I do, Mrs. Smith. Tell me, how is it being married to such a famous man?
Famous?
Why, yes. Around here, Joseph is quite famous. It isn't easy for a man to escape notice after claiming visitations from God and angels. And now these latest claims of...
Hello, Mrs. Harris. I thought maybe Martin had brought you out.
This has nothing to do with my husband, Mr. Smith. I'm here out of friendly curiosity to verify some rumors.
Rumors?
Yes, about a book you have. A gold Bible.
Oh?
And I'll get right to the point. I'm prepared to help you publish that book and have your money for that purpose. Of course, if I make such a contribution, I think it's only fair that well...
Know what the book contains.
Yes, that and...
Well, first let me explain, Mrs. Harris. It's not a gold Bible, but gold plates which contain the plainness of the gospel.
Mr. Smith.
It also gives a history of the people who formerly inhabited this continent.
Mr. Smith, what I'm asking...
Yes, Mrs. Harris.
May I see those plates?
I'm sorry, I can't show them to you.
But I'm offering you money.
Mrs. Harris, when those plates were delivered to me, I was given strict instructions with a warning to show them to no one. Now, you wouldn't want me to break a commandment from an angel of the Lord, would you?
Why, Joseph hasn't even shown the record to us. He's been that faithful to his trust.
As far as arrangements for the publication of the book, I'd prefer dealing with Martin.
Well...
Now, won't you join us for a bite to eat?
Good day, Mr. Smith. And if you think you'll ever get 1 penny from me or my husband, you're mistaken.
Lord will provide, Mrs. Harris. So will the adversary, I'm afraid.
With a rumor like that going around, every renegade in the county will be out here prowling around looking for gold.
Joseph, are you sure the plates will be safe where you've hidden them?
Now, there's nothing to worry about. The angel warned this would happen. He said every plan and scheme would be used to try to get those plates from me. But he also promised that no power on earth could accomplish it, as long as I remained obedient to the voice of the Lord. All I can ask now is that you continue to stand by me.
With all our hearts, Joseph.
You can depend on us, son. I sure hope you hid those plates good, Joseph, the way they're digging up the landscape.
Don Carlos, run to Hiram's. Tell him I need that box.
And hurry.
Joseph. Be careful.
Hey, Saunders? Hey, looks like old Joe Polack's.
Oh, leave him be. Let's get Joe.
There he goes. Get in! Eli! Leech! Head him off in the stream! He got him now!
You see which way he went?
No, let's keep going. Ah!
I'm all right.
What's the matter? Are you all right, Joseph?
I'm all right. There's a mob out there. And we don't have much time. With the Lord's help, we can outwit them. Don Carlos, keep your eye on that side window. Now, listen carefully.
I ain't ever come up against anybody like that man.
You mean to tell me 3 men couldn't stop Joe Smith?
You nearly killed me.
Shut up! Where's Saunders?
He's out cold. I couldn't shake him conscious.
Come on. Now listen, Eli, you take the boys and go to the window. We'll go around the front. Come on.
They're coming! They're coming!
All right, it's the lights. Mother, Emma, the candles.
Hold it!
All right, brothers. As the Lord went with Gideon, let him go with us tonight.
Let's get going! Bayonets fixed! Platoon charge! Joe's gonna raise himself an army!
Let's get out of here!
We did it, Joseph! We scared the daylights out of them!
Better than that, Don Carlos. We scared the boots off them.
Although Joseph managed to keep the plates hidden from his enemies, he found it impossible to translate, for he was hounded continually. And so he sent for his wife's brother, Alva, asking him to come and drive them to Emma's former home at Harmony, Pennsylvania.
Alva, can you clear that spot, please? What in tarnation you got in that thing? Looks like it weighs a ton. Well, I guess some beans are just heavier than others.
Just remember, Lucy, you've come uninvited, so one word out of place.
I've only come to look after your good name, Mr. Harris, which unfortunately reflects on mine.
Well, Harris. Martin, what brings you out this way?
Looks like more trouble, Joseph. Willard Chase and his boys have worked up some sort of scheme to stop you before you can even reach the county line.
What my husband is trying to tell you, Mr. Smith, they want your gold Bible.
Lucy?
I appreciate your concern, Martin, but the Lord wants us to make this journey today. Besides, I think Alva here and myself can handle a dozen or so renegades. As far as the plates are concerned, Mrs. Harris, I'm sure they'll be safe enough.
I'm sure they will. Just as safe as all the other fantasies you've got stored up in your brain.
Lucy, that's enough.
And another thing, Mr. Smith, if you think my husband is coming to Pennsylvania at your bidding to do your work for you, you've got another thing coming. He's got a farm to take care of.
Pay no attention to her, Joseph.
You may have gotten $50 out of him for this trip, but that's where it ends.
And that's where your tongue stops. Joseph, you have my word. As soon as I can arrange it, I'll be coming. Farewell, Joseph, and God bless you. Here.
You're nothing but a fraud, Mr. Smith. I'll give you $100 to show me those plates. $200!
If ever there was a man to be pitied.
I think you should know, Joseph. I'm no fighter.
If it'll make you feel any better, Alva, the Lord is on our side.
Come on, man, let's go. Here, hold it, hold it. Hold it.
No, Alva. We're doing the Lord's will. We'll leave it in his hands.
Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am, but Sheriff White here has certain matters to take up with your husband.
Now, just where do you think you're going?
You came to search our wagon, didn't you? Look, Sheriff, we have no argument with you and nothing to hide. All we ask is that you treat our property with respect.
Yes, sir, we'll treat your property with great respect. Now, I am sorry, ma'am. Ain't I the clumsy one? Darn. Them blasted gold plates are in here somewhere. Yeah, under there. Under there. Nothing but junk here. Gotta be here somewhere. What's this garbage here? Ain't nothing there.
What about that barrel?
Well, looky here. Beans. Hey, wait a minute. How do we know there ain't something hidden in the bottom of this barrel?
Interesting thought, Everett. Why don't you roll that thing off and bust it open?
Not on your life. Sheriff, this whole thing's gone far enough. Now, nobody's touching those beans.
Well, will you look at that? I think maybe we found what we're after.
Sheriff, do I or do I not have the right to protect my own property?
Well,
Now, this is a good barrel filled with 200 pounds of good beans. If you allow these men to crack it open, I'll expect $10, payment in full.
He's trying to hide something, Sheriff. It's as plain as the nose on his face.
I say let's bust it open right now.
And I say over my dead body. However, to satisfy your curiosity, Alva, hand me that bucket. I'll gladly scoop every last bean out with my hands at no extra charge.
Ah, forget it. We're wasting our time. Come on, let's go. You ain't getting away with this, Joe Smith. Right-thinking people will pull you down yet, you and your stories. Come on, men.
Joseph, it's Martin.
Hello, Martin.
Hello, Joseph.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I came as soon as I could.
Thank you for coming.
Hello, Sister Smith.
Hello, Brother Harris.
Come on, let's go inside.
In the spring of 1828, Martin Harris came to Harmony as promised, but not without strong protest from his wife and other citizens of Palmyra. Immediately, the translation began, Joseph reading from the ancient characters, and Martin acting as his scribe. After several weeks, the handwritten manuscript numbered 116 pages.
Joseph, I beg of you, Ask the Lord one more time, please.
Martin, without a doubt, you are the most persistent man I've ever known.
If I could have the manuscript for just a short time, if I could show it to Lucy, then she might give me some peace.
How can I ask the Lord again? I've already asked him twice, and twice the answer has been no.
Joseph...
Martin, that manuscript is sacred. Now, the Lord has clearly spoken his word on the subject. I will not pester him a third time.
There was a time when I was a respected man in Palmyra. But not anymore. Lucy's turned them against me. They think I'm crazy, Joseph. Devoting all my time and money on you.
Emma, what shall I do? Martin has done so much for me.
Would it hurt, Joseph, to ask the Lord one more time?
Is it true, Joseph?
Yes, Martin. The Lord has given permission. But only on condition that you bind yourself to a solemn oath.
Anything the Lord asks, Joseph, anything.
Then you must promise this. Under no condition will you show this manuscript to anyone, except your wife and a few close relatives. If these writings are lost or fall into evil hands, whatever the reason, as surely as God lives, we will both reap the penalty and face condemnation.
Put your mind at peace, Joseph. I will honor the oath with my life. And before the week is out, I will have the manuscript back in your hands. That is my solemn promise. Thank you, Joseph.
Have a safe trip.
See you in a week. Emma, take care of yourself.
Thank you. Goodbye, Brother Harris.
Goodbye, Emma.
I wish I could feel completely right about this, Emma. Well, what is it?
Joseph, go get my mother.
Be all right.
Just get this fever down.
My baby! I've lost my baby!
Oh, Emma, you'll have others.
Joseph! My baby! I've lost it! I've lost it!
It's not as good as your mother fixes, but with a little time, I'll improve. The important thing is that we get some nourishment down you and get you up out of that bed.
Thank you, Joseph. How long have I been like this? I've lost track of time.
Over a week.
He promised to be back by now, didn't he?
Pay no attention to me, Emma. I worry more than I should. It's hard not to worry, knowing how valuable that manuscript is, knowing how much there is at stake. If only I could be sure that it was safe.
I'm sure everything's all right. Martin is probably on his way right now.
There's got to be a good reason for the delay. There's got to be.
Joseph. Go to Palmyra. I can't bear to see you go on this way. Night after night walking the floor, hardly touching your food.
It's been 3 weeks, Emma. 3 weeks. He promised.
Believe me, Joseph, I'm well enough now. But you'll never have peace of mind until you know that manuscript is safe. Please, for your own sake, go to Palmyra.
Joseph? Joseph! Mama, it's Joseph! Mom, it's Joseph!
It is! Mom, it's Joseph!
Joseph!
What in heaven's name? Oh.
Why don't you care to this, Don Carlos? Thank you. Hello, Lucy. Mother.
What's wrong, son?
He hasn't slept all night. He walked 20 miles from where the coach left him.
No, it's something else. You look unwell. What is it?
I'm all right, Mother. And very glad to see all of you. Don Carlos, get on old Dolly and ride to Palmyra. Tell Mr. Harris I want to see him at once. Hurry.
Run along, Lucy. Please tell me. What's wrong?
I'm just a little tired.
You came all the way from Harmony?
He seemed pretty anxious to see you, Mr. Harris.
I can imagine. I should have gone back when I said I would. But I just couldn't break away with all these problems on the farm.
What's that, sir?
Never mind. Go and tell Joseph I'll be right over. And save some breakfast for me. I was certain it.
I should have listened. I should have listened to the Lord.
Here he comes.
All right, children, around the table.
Good day, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris, won't you sit down? Breakfast won't keep forever.
I've lost my soul, Joseph. I've lost my soul.
Martin, you haven't lost that manuscript, have you? You haven't broken your oath. Martin, answer me.
Yes, Joseph, I've lost the manuscript and I have broken my oath.
No, it can't be. You've got to go back and find that manuscript. You've got to go back.
It's no use, Joseph. I've torn the house apart from one end to the other. There's just no place left to look.
Then all is lost. Everything is gone. Didn't I tell you this would bring condemnation upon our heads? Didn't I say that?
Yes, Joseph, you did.
Oh, how can I go to the Lord with a tale like this? I should have listened. I should have listened to the Lord.
Son, I know it's hard for you now, but you've got to believe that the Lord still loves you.
But Joseph, you can't blame yourself. It wasn't your fault alone.
I'm the one that wouldn't listen, Emma. The Lord spoke to me. Now the plates have been taken back and the power to translate denied me.
But that doesn't mean the Lord won't forgive you. You're still His prophet, Joseph. And if you're humble and repentant, you will still translate that record. I know you will.
And so, the power to translate was lost for a season. It was a dark period in Joseph's life, a time of great humility and repentance as he passed through the refiner's fire. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months. There is a price to free agency, and when a man obeys the voice of the Lord and the whisperings of His Spirit, he will always be blessed and upheld. But when that same man rejects counsel from on high to follow after the persuasions of men, he will find only sorrow and misfortune. But how sweet the gift of repentance and walking from darkness into light. The power to translate was restored, and in due time the Lord provided Joseph with another scribe who would labor with him until the translation was complete and the Book of Mormon published. And though evil men had sought the book's destruction, there was no power on earth that could keep it from coming forth. Had Joseph failed in the task, the Lord would have raised up another, for it was His purpose from the beginning to bring it into the light. And just as Satan sought the destruction of the Book of Mormon, so will he do all in his power to keep the honest seeker of truth from reading its pages. For according to the prophet Joseph Smith, it is the most correct of any book on earth, and a man may get nearer to God abiding by its precepts, than by any other book.